How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Down to Earth with Kristian Harloff. I know I'm not in the studio, I'm in between studios, but nonetheless, I had to talk about this. This is a big story. So, if you're brand new to this channel, you've never been here before, this is our Monday through Friday, the UAP news channel where we try to cover everything, the big news. Well, I don't think there's anything bigger than this news today, and that is Karl Nell speaking at the SALT conference. Now, originally it was supposed to be David Grusch, and then they said David Grusch was not there due to scheduling conflict. Whether or not that's true or not, who knows? But then they announced that Karl Nell would be filling in. Now, Karl Nell was also someone who has been talked about as a potential, another whistleblower, someone else who could potentially talk in front of Congress if there was another public hearing. And the stuff that he said was confirmation on a lot of things that people, especially inside this community on the believer side of things, if you will, thought. But to hear him say these particular things, it's pretty mind-blowing. You know, now I think, well, let's play some of the clips first. So Skyfire News did a really good job of breaking down some of the key things that Karl Nell spoke about. He spoke for over 20 minutes. They have the full interview. I think there's a couple of different people you can find the full interview, but some of the key things that came out of it. Listen to this clip here.
And my last assignment was involved with the UAP task force, which maybe is the most apropos for this discussion.
And so, Karl, here's the million-dollar question. Do you believe that a higher form of non-human intelligence has visited this planet?
Right. So non-human intelligence exists. Non-human intelligence has been interacting with humanity. This interaction is not new, and it's been ongoing. And there are unelected people in the government that are aware of that.
And so, Karl, that is quite a bold statement. I'm wondering, and I'm curious, how confident are you that that is true?
There's zero doubt.
I mean, the first clip that they show is him essentially saying that there is non-human intelligence and that it exists and that they've been interacting with humanity. And if you've been following this topic, even for the last year, like I have, right? You hear countless amount of stories of people inside of the military who say certain things like this. But to hear it at this capacity, a confirmation that there was interactions that was ongoing, and the idea that there are people inside of the government who, and not even the elected officials rather, but this, again, things that you have been hearing over and over, these private companies that are essentially in charge of this, have this knowledge. And here's another clip.
The government exists for and by the people. And so the nature of reality is fundamentally not government information. People have a right to know the world in which we live, and the pursuit of happiness requires that knowledge. So that's sort of the first kind of overarching philosophical foundation for this. But, you know, as a corollary to that, if there are misdeeds that were done, then they need to be remediated. If there's lack of proper oversight, which is suggested by some of the whistleblowers, that needs to be remediated. So the first issue is the moral issue. The second issue is being in a reactive mode is never preferable to being in a proactive mode. So reactive mode is basically trying to prevent disclosure. But failing that, you might get a situation where you have catastrophic disclosure that creates all the problems that you were trying to prevent. So a more balanced middle path of controlled disclosure is the best way to do this, which is, again, an argument for some amount of disclosure. And the third part is simply societal advance and global competitiveness. More brain trust needs to be brought into this topic in order to make progress and to improve society. And so all three of those things together trump the 6 other reasons for non-disclosure.
And this is a fantastic point, and this is what we've said many times on this show and in general, and that is, yes, look, there might be some information that you don't want to get out there to other governments in order for them to know the progress that you're making, or whether it's national security, sure. But what Karl Nell says here, I think, is the whole reason why I do this channel, why other people talk about this subject matter, and that's that if there is proof that human beings know that there's other stuff out there in reality, that our reality is different, that's something for everyone to know, not just a select few. That's not fair to who gives them the right to have that absolute power because they happen to be on that trail that other people before them were on. They're lucky enough to know about it, so those select few get to know. Why don't we get to know if that is indeed the case? If there are ways to change our society and things that we could know, why do they get to know? Again, I understand when it comes to technologies and maybe the idea of certain programs that we don't want to let other people know about, but knowing that it exists or knowing that there are other things out there society-wise, I think is something that we definitely should know. But it continues on. There's way more. Like I said, 20 minutes, but these are some of the key things. Now look at this clip.
So there's 6 basic reasons, and this, again, you could draw this out from first principles. There's the national security reason. There's the lack of a plan. There's the potential for societal disruption. There's the possibility that there's some non-public agreement. There's the potential for misdeeds and the desire to cover up misdeeds. And there's just the basic organizational intransigence and lack of priority that might be associated with the topic. So all these things are factors. The issue is that really the national security issue subsumes all the others. And so there's an opportunity maybe to contract the national security issue similarly to what was done with nuclear weapons and nuclear energy, such that nuclear energy is not necessarily classified and is available to the public. But lack of a plan and the potential for societal disruption are key ingredients that would prevent any responsible leader from coming forward with information that they don't have the means to address in a responsible way. It would be irresponsible to do that.
Okay, so what you're saying is that you have absolute conviction that a higher form of non-human intelligence has visited this planet, that there are factions within our own government that know about this, yet we still don't have a plan, and they may represent a security issue. This may pose a threat to humans, yet you still believe that we should disclose. Is that right?
Correct, right.
Okay, so when asked about why there's such a hesitancy on disclosure, as we mentioned before, when it comes to national security, the lack of a plan, which I thought was interesting, the way that society would handle it, and the thing that was the most interesting, the non-public agreement that could potentially be there. So what does that mean? How much does he know about that? Kind of ties into the fact that there has been communication with NHI over God knows how many years. So it's fascinating when you hear, because the thing that gets me with Karl Nell and all of this is how competently he speaks about it, how matter of fact he speaks about it. Not when he's asked, and he's even asked at one point, how certain are you? And he said, it's in doubt. It's like 100% is pretty much what he's saying for him. And that means that this is a guy who knows a lot and knows what he's able to say on a stage like this. What about the stuff that he can't say? What kind of information would blow our minds on that one? So it is one of the main reasons that everyone's talking about. They want this guy to be able to go in front of Congress because he is very much so an advocate for disclosure, and he talks about, listen to this clip.
This is a global phenomenon, and it's affecting other countries just like the United States. The reporting on this is clear over decades. Other countries have reported this stuff. And not only that, the Vatican has come out and made statements that reference or tangentially reference this topic. So organized religion has a say in this topic as well. So it's really a whole of planet, whole of humanity problem. And so the U.S. has got its role to play, but these other countries have their role to play, and it would behoove us to recognize that U.S. action could be preempted by another party, and it would be probably more conducive to work collectively.
That's pretty telling, and I think we also understand that for people who don't really know this topic well, you'll see that conversation in comments and other things of, well, it's funny that it's only the U.S. that ever sees these things, and clearly that's not what it is. It's as Karl Nell says, it's a global phenomenon. And the question is, one of the things where they said that catastrophic disclosure could happen is if another country decided that they were going to do this first, and how the technology has been discovered essentially from many other countries. And he's right, where if this is one of those things that could essentially just bring humanity together, because you got to work together with it, and the U.S. could play a bigger role. And instead of, and I think that that's what it comes down to, and this is also maybe because of lack of information, where you want to take the optimistic route on it, because I don't know, you don't know what they really have and all those things, but it's like you kind of wish in that maybe that kind of kumbaya way that, hey, this is a worldly issue that everybody, maybe this is the thing that could stop the way that this world is really working now. And if we knew the larger scale and how small these little things are that we think are so big, maybe we could be the generation that turns things around and the world changes overall, if it was what Karl Nell is indeed speaking about here. All right, there's a couple more clips. Look at this one.
What evidence have you seen? What was the moment where you developed this level of conviction? Because what you're saying is extremely consequential and very important. And I know that a lot of people here even perhaps may not believe that statement.
We can look at some folks that have very high level access to information, like Paul Hellyer, who is the defense chief for Canada, has come out and said the same thing. We can look at Ham Eshed, the head of Israel's, or former head of Israel's Space Force, has said the same thing. Chris Mellon, Deputy Assistant Secretary for Intel, SAPCO, has essentially said the same thing. Lou Elizondo has said the same thing. David Grusch has said the same thing. David Grusch cleared for presidentially level material. So you're looking at people that are in a position to know this, and they're telling you the same thing. You could take a look at the Gang of Eight in the Senate and in Congress. So there's two members of the Gang of Eight, Marco Rubio and Senator Chuck Schumer, that signed up to the UAP disclosure amendment last year that basically said they're not being told the truth and we need to push forward on that. So that's sort of an overview of some of the data.
All right, so that was the last clip that Skyfire News pulled out, but there's a lot of other things that he talks about, but these are the ones that kind of stood out. Now, when asked about about the evidence, he kind of danced around it a little bit. He didn't necessarily give an answer, but he started giving other names, saying, well, look at these people that had this level of security and the positions that they were in, and they're all saying the same thing I'm saying. So why is that? And he's kind of telling you that everybody's on the same page about this, saying the same thing, risking their careers. Why? If they all are saying the same thing that I'm saying, plus we have the Senate Majority Leader saying, I know we're being lied to, now we got to put together this bill. Why is everyone doing this? Because they're all on the same page saying it's time to tell the American people the truth. So again, not giving the answer as far as what it was. Maybe he can't say what it was that he was able to see, but there's a lot there. So overall, what did I think of this? It wasn't a nothing burger, as they will say. There wasn't anything to where you're like, whoa, did you see this is going to be all over the news because this guy was showing photos and saying this, and when he was asked about the evidence, he said he saw this. But what is very telling here is that this is somebody who should be talking to Congress. This is somebody that should be in front of Congress when the public hearing, the next one, happens. And it's also, there are a lot of people who are out there that are talking that you could say, well, he wants to sell a book, he wants to do this, he wants to do that. What's Karl Nell's motivation? And I'm curious from like naysayers also, and I'm not asking this in a contradictory way. I'm asking it to see what you would think. Like, why do you feel? Because there's an answer that I might not know. As I said, I've only been really following this and these people for like a year, but I can't see the motivation behind why someone like Karl Nell would get up and talk about this stuff. And if it's not like he doesn't seem to be a guy who heard from a guy who heard from a guy who heard from a guy. He seems to be somebody who knows and doesn't flinch when asked this. So I just don't know the motivation why he would risk it. I don't understand the motivation why Grusch would. So yeah, that's my thought on this, man. This was a big thing today. It was. it just, to me, it proves that this is just somebody that we need to hear more, to talk more, and to give more stuff. So I ask you, what'd you think about this? Did you watch the full interview? I'm going to put a link to it so you can watch the full interview if you didn't, and check out what Karl Nell had to say. So if you're brand new to this channel and you've never been here before, do me a favor, subscribe to it. Help us get to 25,000 subscribers. I think we can do that. I think we need you guys to help us do that. So hit that button. The other thing you want to do, if you can, people ask me all the time, hey, I really like what you're doing here. Keep fighting the fight. I appreciate it. And I appreciate you guys commenting. But if you are able to, and you have the means to, a good way to support the channel. We don't have a Patreon for this channel yet. So a good way to support us is get something for yourself. I'll tell you about 2 sponsors. Get one of the sponsors, get 2 of them, and help yourself. Do something, if you can, if you have the means. So thank you very much, and check this out. Peace out.
The other day, my wife walked in. She said, whoa, where do those jeans come from? Those are amazing. Those are nice. I said, that's right. It's the perfect jean, baby. Love the perfect jean. Perfect jean makes great looking, perfect fitting jeans, and they're stretchy, and they're nice, and they hug your assets in the perfect place. They really do. It's got special denim fabric. It's very soft. It's really great. I've been wearing these, and it's super comfortable, and they look good. And that's what I needed, and I got it. Trust us when we say these really are the perfect jeans, because once you try them, you're never going to go back. For a limited time only, my listeners are going to get 15% off their first order plus free shipping. But you got to go to theperfectjean.nyc or Google The Perfect Jean and use the code DTE for 15% off. I love it. I put them on, and I was curious at first because they were like, stretchy jeans, does those work? And they do. They feel super comfortable. They look good, and I like wearing them. Super stretchy and great. I felt good, man. Felt good wearing them, and I can move around in them, and I like that. They fit great. Make sure you go to theperfectjean.nyc and use that code DTE. 15% off. Get it. Hey, thanks for watching the video. I'm excited. I know summer's right around the corner. I'm wearing hoodies right now, and I won't be because it's starting to get hot. And I am excited because I just learned about Chubbies. Chubbies is a lifestyle apparel brand that makes every moment feel like a vacation. So they say that fashion is an expression of one's character, so why not let the world know that you're down for a good time? I need swim trunks. That's what I need. I need swim trunks. I need comfortable shorts, and that's what Chubbies has. They have all of it. And I got big thighs, guys. I got big thighs. So I needed shorts that I'm like, okay, you know what? I want to look good in these. I want to walk into my house, I want to put them on, and I did this, and I said, it's all about what my wife thinks. And my wife went, whoa, new shorts, nice. And I was like, I'm in. And I like the old kind of Mike Tyson shorts, you know, for me. And that's what I had. They had them. They had those kind of like black shorts. I liked it. I like the black colors. I like blue colors. They have every type of color, and that's what I like about Chubbies. They got a different variety of high-quality men's apparel, so it's great. Stretchy shorts, all of it. Comfortable shorts, the best. So for a limited time, Chubbies is going to give our listeners 20% off your order with our exclusive code. Use that code DTE at chubbyshorts.com. Again, that's DTE at chubbyshorts.com. You will enjoy these. You really will. And I think that it's high quality. And it's summer. It's right around the corner. I know everybody's looking for shorts, bathing suits, all that. This is where you go. All right. Thanks for watching. Go get some shorts.